We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin. And today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this.
And what this is private selection Calabrian chili. Or chile, if you prefer. Culinary hot sauce. We got the hot label on the back, but if you guys have read the written review, feel free to check out the blog. Of course, it is down below in the description, the link to it if you care to do that. Hot is definitely a misnomer. And so here is garlic, cumin, habanero. And let's see, here's the ingredient panel. So this is, I don't like the way they printed this. Makes it really a challenge to kind of whip through, but let's do it anyway. Tomato puree, water, tomato paste, white vinegar, salt, cane sugar, chile, pepper powder. So we have Calabrian chili, Puglia, which is Greek, chile, Campania, chile, and so I saw, oh, there's habanero all the way there at the very, very bottom. And I will say this, so you have a good consistency here too. There is precious little heat here. You can see this thing is almost gone. I had to actually stop eating this so I would have enough for this for this video segment. Because it's one of those sauces I found just a lot of fun to test. Sometimes you come across those. Pure Death was another one for me that you just get a joy out of trying to put it on every possible thing that you can. And that only happens when you find something that is really good on a lot of different stuff. Which this one is. This is one of the most flexible sauces I think I've ever come across. But, as I said in that review as well, it is a very good introductory sauce for people that are interested in hot sauce and want to move up, gradually kind of go a little bit further. You can only put those Taco Bell sauce packets on so many things before you want something else. And for many of us, the consistency here is a lot, and the look is actually a lot like it too. Like the La Victoria Salsa Brava or just the regular hot sauce. And that was the introduction, if you're as old as I am, that was your introduction to hot sauce, was back then. Was one of those two things. There wasn't a lot available on the shelves outside of that. I don't think that there were any super hots that I remember until I got a lot older. And habanero started to make its way into things. Of course, Dave's Insanity sauce. For the people that wanted to do, drunken hot sauce challenges and junket parties. And that was a very noxious sauce, but it definitely, with the extract, it was definitely hot and heavy, particularly considering the time. So, we've got a very darkish orange here to a light orange. And this is a gorgeous sauce. It's very smooth. It's blended well. You can see it does stick fairly well, but it does have a degree of runniness to it as well. Like I showed you here in the bottle, you can see you pour this, it's way, way faster than like a ketchup or something like that. So yeah, let's down the hatch. It's very, very rich. You get a tomato, you get a nice bit of saltiness in there, and it's almost a little reminiscent of a tomato soup with like a red pepper in it. In fact, I'm going to have to try this tomato soup now. I put this on everything. Pizzas, Mexican food. It was good on everything except for, I didn't like it on standalone stuff like fish sticks and chicken strips. I just didn't think the flavors melded particularly well with that. It just it wasn't bad. It's better on other things. Put it that way, better on other things. This is what I would say is probably a default one. If you have enough of it, you can start to get a little bit of heat. But by itself, you're not going to get blasted into orbit. But there's just enough there so that you can really, like, people that are interested in hot sauce and want to kind of evolve their palate a bit, this is a good sauce to put them on. It's cheap. It's like $2-3. And it is very flavorful. So this is a really, I think, starts opening up the possibilities of hot sauce in people's minds. One thing I do have a complaint about with the packaging, though, is, and that's why I threw off this cap, is it's got, you can see here, a restrictor cap, which is silly. It does not need a restrictor cap. And actually, trying to get it through the restrictor cap is ridiculous. And I think Private Selection does this with all of them. And there is not a sauce that I have either done on the blog, or I think this is the first one from them I've done in a video. But I've tried all their sauces, and there is not a single one that would need a restrictor cap. In the Kroger line, because I think they're having Sweet Baby Ray's make their Louisiana style sauce, that one obviously needs a restrictor cap, but that's under Kroger. It's not under Private Selection. Private Selection, of course, is the upgraded. You know, it's kind of a Lexus to the Private Selection foods. So, one of the challenges of this video series, got Fritos here. One of the challenges of this video series is to come up with different things, so I'm not constantly just eating the same foods. You know, we all us chili heads, you know. All us chili heads, we like to have chicken strips a lot. We have, you know, fish sticks and stuff like that a lot. And, you know, pizza, that stuff pairs pretty well with hot sauce. But, I know you're wondering what I'm doing. But, you can only do that to a point, right? And every single video, if I'm here just trying to, you know, just basically having the same thing over and over and over again. And I've seen some reviewers out there doing that. They want it on one specific food, but all sauces don't pair well with all foods. You know, this one comes probably the closest that I've had, because Mexican style food is really difficult to get a sauce that's nice with that and then is nice with other stuff on top of it. This is one of the few that you can use as taco sauce, you can use with pizza, you can use with pasta. It's really, really flexible in that respect. I think I probably could figure out a way to use it on chicken strips also, but there's very little heat here, so that's not anything I think I'm ever going to be attempting. But, you know, if you try to get stuck on the same food over and over and over again, then basically you're buying sauce to one specific type of food. And, you know, this blog and this video series is all about flavors and different flavors and the spirit of experimentalism. And we don't ever want to detract from that mission, because that's, you know, that kind of variety, that's the fun. That's the fun of all this. And so, is there one food in your life that you would want to eat that and nothing else? I mean, I can't think of what there would be. So, I just try to keep this so it's not one note. Which brings me to why I just put a whole bunch of Fritos in this Ziploc bag. Well, because I have to put them in there, so I can also pour some of this here sauce in there. Alright. Now, you probably don't want to do this with expensive sauces. This was a trick that was, I mean, is whatever you might think of it as a trick, but this was taught to me by a guy I used to work with, and this was something he did all the time with pico pica. And pico pica is another sauce I used to always keep on hand, just because there wasn't access to a lot of better stuff for quite a while. So anyway, what he would do is he would take, I couldn't find a small Frito bag, so I got this big one, is he would throw the sauce in there and then just cap off the end and just do this, right? We see this all the time, chicken wings and things like that, but I mean, how often do we see it with junk food? You know, most of the junk food we expect the flavoring to be on there. So we're just gonna give it another good shake here. But Fritos was the main one that he did this with all the time. So this is an homage to that guy that that I hung out with for a time. So, and you have to be a little careful here, because if you do this, you have to eat these kind of fast unless you want soggy chips. You know, and chilaquiles are okay, but you know, we don't necessarily want to have that for this. And so, of course, if you're on the job site and you know, you're tired of the vending machine snacks and you happen to bring along a bottle of hot sauce, you can do this. I'm using a spoon because I don't want this all over my fingers. Obviously, if you're at a break room or whatever, you're going to have to use your fingers. So, and of course, I mean, it's almost like chips and salsa. In a very literal way, it is chips and salsa. It's chips. Salsa, of course, just means sauce. Just, there's a really excellent, well-blended sauce. There's that little note of vinegar in there that just is just chef's kiss. Now, obviously, you don't want to try that sauce trick with an expensive sauce. This one's a 6 fluid ounce bottle for $2 or $3, but I have to say, whoever came up with this sauce, this is very inspired. This is a sauce I honestly would have never seen coming, because a lot of sauces that they do are their take on other popular sauces. You know, there's a Korean one, a Japanese one, just depending on how trendy those happen to be at the time. And this one, I don't know where they came up with this, but this is a brilliantly conceived sauce. And, you know, after eating all as much as I just did there, I mean, I would say I'm getting enough of a burn finally that I would say it's a legit one. Certainly no more than that, and you have to eat quite a bit of it. But that's really what you want, you know, when you're starting out. For people that are just trying to get into it, you don't want to go all the way up to scale to, you know, like a Megadeth or anything like that. You want to kind of ease your way into it and make sure it's something you want to do, you know, depending on what your tolerance is. You don't want to dive into cap craps right away, because, you know, you're not going to probably have somebody, unless somebody's insane, you're not probably going to have, you know, chili head for a number of years. It's going to set it back quite a bit. But yeah, this is I never expected a sauce like this, just off a grocery store shelf, to be a sauce of the year candidate, but it is. And it's a fantastic sauce, definitely. I don't know if I'm going to keep it on hand. It might be my new taco sauce, but it doesn't really have the heat that I would want. I would like to have just a touch more heat to it, but outside of that, it's a very, very well done sauce. Definitely, it's outstanding on a number of levels. So if you happen to be by a Kroger, this is certainly something well worth picking up. Definitely. But there it is, our look at the Private Selection Calabrian Chile Culinary Hot Sauce.
Now go forth in peace to serve the flame.